What's up, guys? This is sessions 3 and 4 with Michael. We are working on a full leg sleeve and we already started on his thigh. We have this gargoyle. You see we have a cover up right here. We're going to be working on layering that as the sessions go on. But now it's time for the arm. It wraps here, it goes all the way on the back of his thigh and onto his ditch area. We're thinking some type of portrait right here. I have a vision in mind, but I want to make sure that we get that hand on first because it's going to be on top and we want to make sure to see where that lays before I do the bottom. So this is the first day of 2. We're going to knock out that arm. We're going to block it in. We can always add the detail in later, but right now I'm going for coverage to get as much on his leg as possible. The plus of getting it done at the beginning is that we have our adrenaline and we have our fuel. The plus of getting it done at the end is that it's the end.
Let's do it first.
Do it first. Okay. All right, guys. So we decided to start on the hand today. And there's a couple reasons why we decided to do that. One, the hand is on a pretty spicy area of the leg. It's on the knee as well as the knee ditch. So we wanted to get it knocked out while we still have some good adrenaline going. And it's going to be easy to re-stencil this top part if absolute need be. And today I'm focusing on blocking in the big stuff. So the really dark areas and then the detail we'll add in as we go. I want to just focus on as much full coverage, getting as much done on the leg sleeve as possible. You can see we kind of started that here. So I'll eventually go in and clean up these chains and stuff. And you can see it on here. They have a tone on there that's not on there yet. More detail in the hands and really just more detail everywhere. But we got a lot done last time because we blocked it in. Same thing with this. We're going to block it in and just keep going. And then eventually I'll come in and add in the tiny little craggly stuff. But full coverage, and then you'll be able to see the full picture, see what you really need to add versus take out for that good contrast. So I was letting you guys know earlier about the whole blocking in thing and my darks in and the big shapes, but I am going to still be adding in some texture today. There's tons of different ways that you can add in texture. You can use a mag, you can use round shaders, round liners, change voltage, tons of different things. Right. As you can see, I have blocked all of this stuff in, and this area specifically, I've only used my mag. This is a 15 curve mag. It's a standard. I've gotten in all my blacks, and to get those little textures, I've just turned my mag on its side, and I use the little corners of it and just kind of sporadically go about and add in the little textures. Now, when I get into the nitty gritty, that's when I switch to a round shader or a round liner. A coil is really great to use during this method because it punches really hard, but you can still get the same effect using a rotary machine. It's something that I've noticed you just have to layer over time. There's a little crack going down right here, so I will just get the side of my mag. And the good thing about stone is that it is crumbling, and it's okay if you don't get it exactly perfect because it's still going to leave a nice texture. And you just turn on its side like that. Up here there's a little line. So again, turning my mag on the side, getting a little bit of edge right there, and then just pulling it up so it looks craggly. And then if I wanted to add in some more texture, I'll take my mag out and I will grab a round shader. Let's see, this one's a 14, so it's pretty big sized, but since this is such a large scale image, that's all right. And then I'm going to bump my voltage down to about 5. It's going to go a lot slower, so you're going to be able to do a lot more of that stippling texture. This is a slow process. And then I just grab it and then just start going over it. My hand speed is faster than the voltage right now. So it's going to leave like little dots. It's going to have the needle skip over the skin, and you can even see the actual dots from the excess ink. This is why I say a coil is really great for this part of it, because you know that coil is going to really punch those tones in there. But again, it is still totally achievable with a rotary machine. You just have to be patient and build up those tones a lot more. Perfect. So we'll take off these guys and then these guys, keep these. And then I'll play around with the hair. It may be better to keep it like this, but I want to see all of our options.
Sure.
And I don't think it's going to change it too much. I just want to see how it will play with the fingers and stuff. But if you're cool with it, I'm going to go ahead and print it out so we can just see the shapes before we get too married to it. So for sure tomorrow we'll be able to get in the whole portrait and the hair. And then I would love to get in the necklace and stuff as well. We may need to re-stencil all the scales and stuff just because that's so much detail. And I don't want to rush the scales. But again, we're going to see where we can get to tomorrow. All right, so we just did the sizing for day 2 of these 2 sessions with my client, Michael. I found an image that we both really love, and I am going to kind of customize it, add some things, take away some things, but check out what we have in mind. This portrait, he wanted to keep a gothic, kind of like vampy, elfy type of feeling. We both really loved it. There's some elements that we want to take away. There's some elements that we want to add, but overall, it's stunning, and this is the size. He's got some big legs. This is the size. This is roughly the size that we're going with. He definitely has some nice space, which is great, especially because the face is going to be on the calf. We don't want any warping to occur, and it's very flat, which is great. I want to add a hand in here. I think that that'll be nice to go on the front of his shin, and then we'll just see how much it wraps on the back and how I'm going to taper this off. But it's a really nice long area, and we're going to get a lot of detail because of the size, which is great. So I can't wait. He can't wait. It's going to be a good one. Isn't that so cool?
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we went with a smaller size? Like, look at how much smaller it looks once it's laid on.
Right.
And it fits perfectly. So we'll have some filigree, because this is all black right there. I don't need that. I like that, like, lacy stuff, but that's black. So we'll have some, like, piece of filigree or something coming over and, like, flowing right here. And then, yeah, I love how the hand placement is on the front of the shin. It doesn't wrap nearly as much as I expected it to, which is also great, because now we have this beautiful open spot on the inside. We have plenty of space there. Like, look at all that. And then technically she has more of her shoulder on the back that we could add, but I'm holding off on that for now because we don't need shoulder to show it's her, you know. But, you know, I really like the placement and stuff. I think that it's really nice. All right, guys, it is portrait time. I'm going to be working on a lower leg portrait, and I'm going to take you through the process of how I tattoo one. So check it out. I always start with the biggest features, which are the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. The other shading around the face, yes, everything's important. But these pieces are really what's going to help you capture the likeness of what you're doing. Eyes are my favorite, and in my opinion, the most important. So I always start here. I start getting in my dark values first, which is going to be the eyelashes, the pupil, and sometimes around the eye if it's a girl and she has some makeup on. As you see, I did the pupil. Want to make sure that that's in the right place because we definitely don't want the eyes to not be in proportion of each other in case you mess up a little bit. So again, just blocking in. I'm using a round shader right now for those eyelashes. I could technically use a mag, but I'm going for finesse. I'm going for finesse and detail. And then from there, once I get this blocked in just a bit more, I'll start working on a few little midtones in the eye, but I don't want to get too much done on the eye before I move on to the other features. All right, so I've got those top lashes on for the most part. I may wisp them out a little bit in the future, but I'm getting these bottom lashes on. Most of the time, if you're wearing makeup, your bottom lashes aren't going to be as thick, unless that's a stylistic choice you're going for with your makeup. So I'm going to use a little bit of a thinner needle. I'm using a 5-round liner instead of a 7-round shader. I'm just wisping the babies out. I'm getting that dark on first, and then I'll go back on and add that shade underneath that eye. Now I am adding in that mid-tone underneath the eye. I don't want it to be fully black. Again, unless that's a stylistic choice of like very deep, dark gothic makeup. She definitely has some dark makeup, but not that crazy. So my drop system, I used a 15 drop mixed with my 50% cap. And I'm going ahead and establishing that water line up top. And then also there's a little eye fold right here. So I'm establishing that too. Really lightly brushing, always doing that directional shading. I don't want to go just straight across. I do want to go up and down a little bit to insinuate that there's a fold of the eye right there. But there is a little bit of light in between. So that's why I'm not just brushing it straight across. I want a little bit of variation. And yes, technically, you can skip a few of these little things, but in my opinion, this is where you can make yourself really stand out as an artist, especially if you want to specialize in portraits. You need to find every single little piece of the portrait for the likeness. This is also extremely crucial when you're doing memorial portraits. You would be surprised how the tiniest little freckle or wrinkle or fold in the skin can make it look so much more like the individual that you're trying to portray and draw. So it may seem silly to you, but I have seen it myself. I'll draw a tiny little bit and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just made the whole portrait. So I've got the eyes blocked in enough. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the nose next. The two black areas are going to be the nostrils. So I just start filling those in. Be conscious you don't just make them black holes. You need to see where the deepest part is and make that black, and then fade it down from there. It's going to look a little too cartoony if you try and make it too harsh. All right, so I did the nostrils. The next darkest part would be the little edge around the nose. So again, very softly brushing that tone on to establish it. And really the biggest thing is getting these little lines and suggestion marks on there before your stencil rubs off. At least for me, I can work from a faint stencil and I can also work from a few little ink brushes, but definitely don't want to lose these big integral parts of the anatomy. So that's why I just get in the little shadows and then I can build off of it from there. That's also why it's crucial to have a drawing background so that if something like that happens, I can't even tell you how many portraits I've drawn in my life. And it's definitely a lot scary, or a lot less scary, when you rub your stencil off and you've drawn enough portraits to know that if you need to, you can freehand it. Same thing over here with this little crease. It's a lot lighter, so I rinsed out my needle, did more of a 5-drop right here. Again, I'm not going for broke, I'm just going for the suggestion of it right now. Don't want to make anything too finalized until I do the rest. So just get that in there enough, and then I'll keep moving on around. So you see I have the nose, the mouth, and the eyes all blocked in. Definitely want to add some more detail. But now what I like to do is get the perimeter, get that black in there, make sure that it really pops. And that is mainly to make sure that you are not going to go too dark on the face. There's nothing worse than having a tonal portrait, and you want to keep that really high contrast. Something I like to keep in mind is that I want it to look beautiful from this close, but also from far away. And with that being said, you want to keep some really light areas. So that's going to be this area for me. As you can see, I do have some tones, but I'm going to leave it a bit more open than that. I can always add to it in the future, but just like we talked about up top, I'm going to add the detail as we go. But I am adding some tones still on this side, some deep shadows. That way it really looks like the hair is covering her face, and it'll make this side stand out even more. One of my favorite tips and tricks that I was taught is directional shading when it comes to tattooing. Because we are tattooing a rounded surface, I want to make sure that I am creating the illusion of roundness. So as you see, I'm going back and forth And I will be shading up like this on the cheekbone because it'll give it the illusion that it's around a cheekbone. If I only went up and down or side to side, it wouldn't give that illusion as much. So I'm just using it like a scooping method basically with my mag. And again, it'll make it look like she has a little bubbly cheek. Same with the nose you can do, even on the lips. Like the lips, I came up like that instead of just across. And it'll give that rounded effect. It's definitely something that you can layer over time, but it's a great thing to practice.
Damn, son, look at that.
I can't wait to keep working on it. Like there's literally 1 million things that I want to do. And like we'll add more shading on the face and stuff. We'll add more detail on each of the scales. We'll bring that filigree down and really cap that nicely and stuff.
Yeah.
But like that's a nice start to it.
It's so realistic, dude. Holy
Oh,
shit.
I know. I love that area. Like the little like light coming through and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're going to punch that next time. Like her face is really going to pop out. All right, guys. So those 2 sessions are a wrap with my client, Michael. Check out the progress. We worked on this gargoyle arm right here yesterday and got that all blocked in. We'll definitely do some more layering and textures. And then today we worked on this beautiful thing. We got a good first pass in. We need more shading pretty much everywhere. We need to add in more detail, add in more stuff with the stencil, come down here, wrap it up. But great 2 sessions. We did about 12 hours of tattooing today, so we pushed it a little late, but it's worth it. I cannot wait to keep adding to it, layering, and then seeing what else we come up with. So stay tuned and thanks for watching.